And this time around, they were very wordy and they were big, these documents. So for the common voter, the common citizen, we're using this as a tool to say, for the voter who wants to track to say, I have not made up my mind. I want to choose a party based on the ideas they are proposing. That's what we're doing it for that kind of voter. Because we had run a survey, and that survey had taught us that 22% or 24% thereabouts were going to be first-time voters. People had never voted before in the election. And we're saying, how are these people going to be influenced? Some of them had said they've already made up their minds, but the others had said they've not made up their minds on who they were going to vote for. And we've always said one of the objectives of Civil Institute is that we want to move people from personality-based politics to issue-based politics, where you are not necessarily driven by charismatic politicians, which have been the bane of Africa. For all of you who know, not even Africa, globally, some of the worst politicians we have had here were some of the best orators. But when it came to implementation on even their human rights record, people like Hitler and everything, good speakers, but very terrible in terms of their governance records. So that's what we're trying to say. How do we move? It's a long-term project. How do we move from personality-based politics to issue-based politics? So for us, we are very clear. We've got a long way to go. The political culture in Zimbabwe at the moment is so personality-based. We are yet to move to a place whereby we can shift political party allegiances because a certain political party is now championing the issues that are close to you. We're not yet there. So we are trying to say, how do you influence a culture, a political culture going forward? But what is interesting is the millennials who are coming in as first-time voters. Because what we said is, when we're doing this tracker, we said, we want a tool that millennials can use. Because one thing we appreciate also, they're not going to be reading the books that Professor has done, but they may read your book on Kindle. They'll read it on their iPhones. And so all our technology is smartphone compatible. You're going to find our work. If you're using a smartphone, our platforms come up easily, and we go to where the millennials are. You find us going to Facebook, to their platforms. You find us going to Instagram, going to LinkedIn, where they are. Because we said we have to go to this demographic group, because this is the one that is going to influence 2023 and the next elections. So we need to be saying, how do we make sure that they're